Okay, so this is a little bit of a different one. They announced the AI Use Case Explorer. Let me share the screen here. Oops.
And I'm going to...
There we go.
I wish we had a banner that said, finally. You know, like you've heard me rant about AWS not being opinionated about anything. And for the first time, I'm seeing it. There you go. For the first time, I'm seeing AWS actually put out a tool that helps you with making decisions. I'd asked them to create a simple decision tree for how you choose the right data source or a data store. The distinction between Aurora and just RDS and Neptune and DynamoDB and DocumentDB and all the others. They just refuse to do it. Like they refuse to have a simple decision tree that would help people decide which kind of data store is right for them, for their use case. But I'm really glad that the AI team thinks differently within AWS. Again, benefits of the federated setup that they have. So I'm really glad they built this tool because this is a real challenge. Finding the right models for the right industries, for the right outcomes, with the right trade-offs being made available is incredibly hard. And it is the main reason why everyone goes about building their own architectures, their own neural networks, their own models from scratch every single time. If they could search through it, filter through it, and figure out which models are most relevant for their use cases, they can get a really, really neat starting platform without having to go through an entire, machine learning workflow definition and execution, which can take months at times. And plus, without all the data, you may not even be able to get that kind of accuracy. We were just talking about Macy, right? If you wanted to build something like that, you just wouldn't know where to go look for something like this. And the fact that this is now available in the Explorer really tells you, okay, I know exactly how to go leverage this particular model or this particular service to deliver these outcomes.
Well, let's have a look at it. So they say it's interesting that you can drill down into use cases. Okay, let's say we want consumer goods and we want, let's do marketing and we want more revenue. Sounds good. Okay, so then we get personalization.
AWS Personalize is an amazing service, which we've talked about before. In fact, our very first episode was with the GM of AWS Personalize, Ankur Mehrotra. And he was talking about how everyone should be able to leverage this right out of the box with really, really simple pieces of data.
Well, and I think what's really neat about this is that we think we're always focused on the tech part of it, but then you zoom out from that in terms of what does an organization need to launch a new AI project, especially an organization that hasn't done one before, and you want to know, okay, what have similar organizations done in the past? What's possible? Yeah. And to be able to right away say, okay, here's some things, here's other companies, here's success stories. Oh, interesting. I didn't know it would take you to YouTube. Okay, cool. So here's all of the things that you need to make your case as to why you could want to do this. And here's how the path has been trod before. That's really, really neat. Because sometimes, AI especially, it can sound like a very daunting thing. I always think about Terminators and robots and all this stuff. And it can be a bit unnerving to say, okay, we want to roll out AI into your business. And so to be able to have all these use cases at your fingertips that are similar to what you want to do, that can be really empowering as a business.
To be very honest, deploying an entire workflow for, bringing the data, cleaning the data, doing feature engineering, then training the model based on it. Once you figure out the model, deploy the model for inferencing, and then keeping the inference service up is nothing short of that nightmare you were talking about with AI, the Terminator kind of nightmare. This comes close. It's torturous. you know, working through all those notebooks and those experiments and figuring out what is the right model for you. That's all extremely painful work. So the fact that you can actually leverage other people's use cases, other people's work and services from AWS is a big win for sure. By the way, I'm very curious. I saw one category called cost optimized. So can we go, let's look at the filters again. Let's search.
Okay.
I think is software one of the categories. Yep,
okay.
Great. Let's look at operations, software operations, and then let's look at cost savings.
Reduce
Costs. Let's see. So fraud detection, great. Yes, operationally, you want to be able to detect anomalies. And they have some really neat anomaly detection tools. So look out for metrics, look out for vision, look out for metrics in particular, helps with fraud. Chatbots and virtual assistants, yep, all of your Lex, Poly, comprehend, recognition, things that, comprehend recognition can do for you for not safe for work and those kind of things. They're all operationally hard things to get right. And you can just start leveraging a bunch of these services to do that effectively right out of the box. What are the other options at the bottom?
Contact center intelligence, cybersecurity.
Yeah. Cybersecurity. So they have Security Hub now, which is pretty awesome. Bunch of process automation. This is probably Change Manager as well as actually, I'm interesting. What is in process automation?
So this. It's automate data processing from documents.
Oh, this is Kendra.
Well, it's oh yeah, look at this is
text track Kendra. Yep.
Comprehend, augmented AI. This is really neat. I can see this really bridging the gap between, what we think of when you think of the AWS consoles. It's this giant menu, and you feel like, all right, well, I guess I better hope I picked the right thing. And then this, which is very opinionated and very directed and curated into telling you where to go and what services to use. It's a real break from the typical approach.
Correct. And very pleasantly out of character for AWS to do something like this. So again, this gets a big thumbs up from me. It simplifies customers' lives dramatically. So yeah, definitely a big thumbs up. And I wish they had more of this across the different product or service categories.
So something like this for what database to use?
Yeah. Or cool. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be super neat?
Absolutely.
Like just NoSQL databases. What should I use? Should I use MongoDB hosted on AWS, which again is a big collaboration and a service from AWS? Or should you use DynamoDB or should you use DocumentDB? When do you use which? Like, no, there's no opinion from AWS.
And then should you use DynamoDB with single table design, or should you use a couple of tables?
Yeah,
I was scratching my head on this yesterday, trying to figure out how to keep track of the articles. And Alex Debris, you sold another copy of the DynamoDB book. All right. So,
absolutely.
Okay. Well, yeah, again, this gets a big simplifies from us. This is really great. Anything else we should add to this one?
No, I think we covered this one. Yeah, I think we covered all aspects of it.
All right, well, let's have a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about code build.